Hello everyone, this is Toby. Today I want to give you an introduction and demonstration what is Microsoft Fabric. First, I will in a high level to brief you what is Microsoft Fabric, why is it important, and what component it has. Then I will use some business case to walk you through how you could use it. Let's get started. So what is Microsoft Fabric? Microsoft Fabric is an end-to-end unified analytic platform. It brings data engineer, data scientists, data analysts, and data citizens all together in one unified platform. It focuses on collaborations with seamless integrations all together on OneLake. For storage, everything stored in OneLake in the same format, Delta package format, for data warehouse, Lakehouse, Custom DB, and dataset. Up above for computation, you can run SQL. You have Apache Spark for distributed parallel computing. And today we will cover for data engineering for Lakehouse, Notebook, and some Spark jobs. And for Data Factory, I will cover all connectors, data pipelines, and Dataflow Gen 2. And for data science, I will cover data Wrangler and running Spark jobs. And for data warehouse, I will cover SQL endpoint and data warehouse. And we will skip the real-time analytics. And Power BI, I will also cover the use case in using Power BI integrated with the data warehouse, Lakehouse, and running notebooks on it. And lastly, this data activator is very new in this month, and we'll skip for now. So let's get into the demo. So the first use case for demo is create a Datamart for SCRM. So click Power BI. You can also click here for Power BI, and then you can see all the other components, and then you can switch. And for now, we say if I go to workspace, if you want to create a new workspace, you just create a new workspace. This you must be familiar with Power BI. So in fact, I need to go to AOL Data Enablement, this workspace, which is this one. And then you can filter. For example, I filter for Datamart, and I create one here. And of course, you can create new different component, but already created. So I just open this one, Datamart SCRM. So it has three components: data query and models. Okay. First of all, how the data comes. Here you see different data entity loading into this Datamart. And say for example, account. It has this kind of field I loaded, and you can see the account is like this data. So, but how to first inject the data for this Datamart? You can go to the transform data. So the first one, I account this entity. I load it up by connect to the Azure SQL Server, and I just use a query. So filter by Hong Kong and active, and then I hit OK, and then I load the data. Of course, you can have many other steps to include different field or manipulate your field. For example, like this activity report. Of course, I first load the data using the same methods I do. So I filter the only business related for Hong Kong, and then I add a custom column. For example, like this one, call activity FK is a foreign key. Yeah, so it uses a if then else statement to combine different column. Like it's a appointment, is a phone call, is a video conference, etc. Depends on the activity type. Then I get this column. Yeah, so you can manipulate your data before it eventually load into your Datamart. So that's done. So I got all this entity done, and the data is stored here. And you can do queries. The query here is basically you can, for example, you can just, I just want this one. You can just view your data in this way, just a normal SQL query or whatever query you like to write. And then for the model is you need to build a model like this one, for example. I join the vehicle by the vehicle account ID to the account ID of the account. So they join it. And similarly, I do join all the other tables like, okay, activities join with activity report. Yeah, I can't join with opportunity and opportunity join with opportunity report and quotation, etc., etc. So also create a date dimension. Yeah. So also as a create a date hierarchy with year, month, date, all in one here. Then the user can just pick this up. If I share to them, they just pick this up. They don't need uh, to do the joining for all the entity from the source, and they don't need to create a time dimension for report as well. So they just take it and use it. As simple as this. So if I go to the data enablement, this workspace, I can share them if I click Datamart, okay, here. So this Datamart is ready to share. Of course, I can let them in my workspace and they will see this. But this is usually the case. Usually the case you just share this out. So I use the share buttons. So put the name or the business stakeholder for the market, and then I can either let him to build report or let him just see it, or I allow him to also we share to some other users and notify him. So this is the way to share. Once, if I share like this, what happens is that if the user got this, they open Power BI desktop, they can get data, of course. But I want to show you that you need to have the latest version. Say I go to help and about. So you can see my version is on October 2023. Otherwise, what happens is that if you go to get data, and if I want more, you won't see this Microsoft Fabric if you don't have the latest version. Okay, so I click here, then you will see like a data Power BI data set, data flow, data mart, warehouse, lakehouse, or KQL database. Now I connect it to a data mart, right? But before that, I want to show you the difference. Say if I connect to a data set. So this is if I connect to a data set. What happens is in a data set, say you already have the model, okay? Because you already used the data set to join create report. But then when you get another data, you try to get another data source, it is grayed out. You cannot do so. This is the problem with data set. So you cannot further join with your local table, local lookup, or you cannot further join with other data source. Okay, so this is a big limitation here. Say if I want to get data for data flow, for example, if I pick from Scanner Hong Kong, Autoline, this one is come from WIF. So you can see that if we share this one, it have different entity as well. And then I load the data. You don't have the model come with you. There is no model come with you. Okay. But the advantage for this is you can combine with other data sources. And in this version, you just try to automatically match with the field between the models. Okay, and they do a good job here because you just see CO and CO, they try to make it together, but it could be wrong. Okay, yeah, but and in any case for data flows, the biggest advantage for that is when you can get another data source data. Maybe it is an Excel from your local lookup. Maybe it is just another data source from on the cloud. Okay, so this is a good thing. But the disadvantage is it doesn't come with the original model. Okay, so for Datamart, I connect it, and here is the Datamart I want to connect is SCRM Hong Kong. And there is two ways to do so. One is connect it or connect to a SQL endpoint. If you connect to a SQL endpoint, it means you don't come with your model. And here, if I click connect, I will get load the full model. So you see that all the entities are loaded, and you can see the full model. I load it, but the problem here is you cannot change the model. You need to ask the creator to change the model. And also the good thing here is you can get the other data, okay, other source data. For example, I may just get it from another data source, just the illustration, and I want to add the local model. So it will do a composite model. Maybe I want to connect to Hong Kong labor wage, for example. So I can just pick any table here. I pick this one. So I submit, and you see here this is the source from WIF, and the others from SCRM. Okay, so I can combine different source to build my report, and just illustration on how to build a report. The model. Okay, say to prove the model work. Say for example, I just create a table. Maybe I just want to create. I want to for the account name. So here comes the account names, and without the model, what account, what vehicle belong to what account, right? So like I want to get the chassis number, maybe license page, yeah, license page, okay, and the chassis, maybe chassis number, okay, and filter the name, maybe like this one. Okay, then you see that, okay, name come with the corresponding chassis. Yeah. So how does it load that? They belong to different entities because of the relationship already joined that. So you can use this directly and build your report, and then you publish your report, and then yeah, you further share to your user. So that is how it works. If I connect to the Datamart again, if I choose the second option, connect to a SQL endpoint, what it does here is it's like a data flow. You can pick up your particular entity or all entity. Okay, say I load this. So the table are low, and of course, you can take all the entity, but what is the difference between the first ones? So it only gives you the partial model, and for the previous one, you cannot change your model. But here, you can change your model. I can delete the relationship, or I can remap the relationship. So that is quite flexible here, and you can also, of course, like get other your local lookup or get any other data source. Yeah, so you can produce your particular data product combined with different data source for your reports. A data set and a data flow. Okay, for example, say if this is a data flow, you can see that I cannot directly share here. Only refresh. I cannot share, but a data mark you can share. You can share this one directly. So then how can I share this data flow to the user? Either you let them in your workspace, or you ask them to give you permission. You deploy this one in their workspace. For the second demo, I will create a data warehouse for a data product combining two different data sources. First, I will go to Toby demo, this workspace. I click new. If I click more options, go down, you can see the data warehouse. You can create data warehouse here, or you switch to component to data warehouse. You create a new data warehouse here. Since I already have one, which is this one, you can see that the data warehouse is very similar to a data mart. You have data query and modeling, but it have more features. Now you can the query you do, which really can create views, function, and store port in the data warehouse. For example, you get the data kick here, you can get it from a new Dataflow Gen2 or a new data pipeline. And for this case, I will use a new Dataflow Gen2. But what is the new Dataflow Gen2? If I go to Data Factory, you see Dataflow Gen2 and data pipeline, you can create one here, but I already create one. So if I go here and then I filter by Dataflow Gen2, so this is the Dataflow Gen2 I created. This one I use it to extract from Autoline with for header records. This one I get it from SCRM, and the date dimension I just get it from SQL Server, okay, from with, okay. So for example, like this one I get it from Autoline with. You will see that it's very similar to a Power Query. So you get your connectors, many connectors you can select, and then you log into your data. Then you log into your data source, and then you get your data, okay, and then you manipulate your fields, filter, change column, etc., etc., and then you publish it, okay. But notice that here is a data destination, okay. You can connect it to a lakehouse, warehouse, etc. You can make a new table or exist table, and I make an existing table already. So if I move it, you can append new data or you can replace the whole data, okay, and with the following fields and mapping. So after it publish, and then you can also, of course, you can schedule this one, and then the data from the data source will sync to your data warehouse. But I want to mention about the Power BI data flow as well. What's the difference? So here is all the data flow, Gen 1, which is from Power BI, okay. So I take it one example, like data flow DM underscore date for the data dimension I get it from. So this is one, I just take one table from there, and if I edit it, very similarly, you can just get a Power Query, okay, and you can get the data from the connectors and select your field and manipulate your field, okay. But here you notice that there is no destination. If I move this one to here, this one, and compare to this one. So if I compare this two, this one is Gen 2, this one is Gen 1, and you can see that there is a destination for Gen 2 and no destination for Gen 1. This is the main difference. If you look at the document, the difference between Gen 1 and then Gen 2, for the Gen 2, you have most the capability, like you have improved the monitoring, it's higher compute and computation, etc., etc. And the most important one to me is the data destination. So this one for Gen 2, you can sync to Lakehouse, data warehouse, etc. But one thing is missing. Concern me is the incremental refresh. In Gen 1, you can do incremental refresh. Also in Datamart, you can do incremental refresh. But in data warehouse, you cannot do it by data for Gen 2. So you need to turn it around. You need to use a notebook to control the data refresh incrementally, or reload the data programmatically. Yeah, but this can be done. And go back to the data warehouse. You see that in the data warehouse, you have view, you have function, you have store port. Okay, like the query. For example, like I use the query here. Like if I run this one, I can see the table structure. Whether what is it varchar, is it daytime, is it a numeric, etc., etc. Is it a loud or not loud? Okay, I can create my table. Yeah, here I create a table directly. I create a table, my table here. Yeah. So if I wanted, it just create my table. Okay. Similarly, you can create view like this view. View I create view as a date dimension. Okay, which is the view in this one. So by running this SQL, I can create a view here, and then the view you can use the view in your model, and etc. etc. Here, I just one more example. You can also use the Visual Query to create your query, not just SQL. So for example, the source is the company record. So I go by it by the name, and yeah, I go by the name of the company. So they create a unique name. Okay. Then the result is like this. So I create a view here. If you view the SQL, so it's just a simple go by the metric and the name, go by the name, and create a view. This one, company info, at the name and the magic key. Okay. So if I go to the model, I can use this view. If I go to the model, I can use this view, like this one, as a unique company lookup. Basically, the data warehouse have full function capability of a SQL Server database, so you can utilize on. And then if you go to share this one, if you share, if you go to the data warehouse, if you share this one to a user, okay, then when they get it, they use Power BI desktop to connect to it. So connect to a data warehouse, connect, and choose your data warehouse. This is the one. And then similar to the Datamart, you can connect it for the whole model, okay? Or you can select your particular tables and create your own models. This is by SQL endpoint, okay? So I just create get the full model. So this is the table, okay, and then this is the model. And basically, this is time dimension with the time hierarchy. And then I get it from SCRM for the activities, so the sales activities. And this one, this tool is get it from with Autoline, the vehicle return to the workshop. Okay, had the record. So to prove how we combine the two sources, let's draw some line chart. Say for example, the time dimension I want to put by date hierarchy. So the date has x-axis, and then I want to show the number of chassis as y-axis, the count of chassis. Okay. Then I want to combine another data source from SCRM for say the count of subject. So how many activities they are. So you can see that they can put it together. And if I drill down to year, so you can see the two different sources can combine together. Okay. And in fact, you can further combine with other data sources as you want to enrich your data product. Same as the data marketing can do that. Okay, for the third demo, I will create a lakehouse. So go to the workspace, Toby demo. You can click new, and then you can click lakehouse. Or for more options, you can create from data engineering to create a lakehouse, or directly you switch to data engineering, and then you can create a lakehouse here. Because I already create one, so I just open it. This one. So in a lakehouse, you have both table and files to cover both structured and unstructured data. Okay, and to get your data, you click here, and you can upload file from your local machine, or you can get it from a Dataflow Gen 2, which is shown in the last demo. And you can also use the new shortcut to do it. And this time I will use data pipeline as an example. And for the event stream, this is for real-time data. So I will not show it here. So let's see if you click here. So if you click the data pipeline, then you set how to connect to a new data to ingest here. in the workspace, you can see this is the data pipeline I created for this demo, and which is this one I want to show you. The KMB would expected time of arrival. The idea is it's quite useful to get the external data from using API call and then get the data. So what you do here, you can use the copy system. You can follow it step by step to get your data source, and then like a lot of connector you can use, and internally, externally, okay? And then the destination and how to do the mapping, etc. But here I just add to the canvas, which I put it here, and then click inside. For the general, you can just put some documentation, okay? And for this source, I take it from a external data, okay, from the Hong Kong government, which is this one, data.government.hong Kong. I see that transport department, so I get it from a real-time arrival data of a Columbus data. So if you click on it, it has all the specification how you can use the API to call the data. So if you click inside, so this is the document. So this is, in fact, this URL I will use to pass the watch number and service type to grab the data from this transport department. Okay. So the data will be something like the watch number, and then the stop, which bus stop, time of arrival, etc., etc., something like that. So the connection type is the REST API, and then the relative URL, which is I create like this. First, you use the base URL, which is the data.eta bus.government.hk to grab the data, and then you also need to pass the rest of the URL. I need to pass the watch number, okay. So I create the parameter like this one, and then this can be changed. So when it once is changed, and then you can grab a different word. So to preview the data, you can also see that if I change word number to 101, for example, then it returns the bus number 101. So this is the data I want to grab, and the destination, which you can do it externally, or you can put it in the workspace in Lakehouse KQL database or warehouse. And I put it in a Lakehouse in this demo Lakehouse, and you can put it in table and file. For this, I put it in tables. And then you can append on it. You can override the data. Now I just override it, and then you fill up your mapping of the source data and the tables, the destination tables mapping. Before I run this, I go to the Lakehouse. So if I go to the table, which is this one, KMB with ETA, so you can see that I have 136 rows, and the bus number is 103, and on different sequence and different bus stop. Now if I run the data pipeline, it should replace this one because I choose override rather than append. Run it. So I go to the data pipeline, and you can schedule to run this every day, or you just let me run it as a demo. I put word number 101, yeah. Before it's 103, okay, and I click OK. So you can see it's running, and it is queued, and you can refresh here, and it is in progress. That's it. And then I go back to the Lakehouse. Before it's 103, let's refresh the table. Let's refresh the whole Lakehouse. And you can see that the watch number is 101, and it got 159 rows, which is overwritten by the data pipeline. So it can do this way. Okay. And the next example I want to show is not ingestion to a table, but to a file. For example, this I also use API, grab the API from a open data source to get the weather. So last time I run this is on October 26th. I have this one. I get the current data from for Hong Kong for the temperature information, okay, weather information. Now if I go to the workspace to the pipeline again, now this one which I want to show is get weather API to files. So similarly, you can document it. The source is from this API .weather API.com, and then also a REST API call, and then the relative URL I get it is also I put create some parameter like my API key and the city. So put it here, follow the documentation, which is from this website, and the detail is something like this. The result will be returned something like this. You input the location, like city, like London here, and then you can get the current weather information. And say if I put I preview the data, I change to here is a Hong Kong. Maybe I put it like Paris. So here is the Paris, and latitude, longitude, and temperature is 15.4 degrees Celsius. Then if I want this, you can also schedule this one to get everyday data. Maybe this time I want London, or you can keep Hong Kong, okay. But say I want it, so it succeeds. So if we go back to the Lakehouse, now if I refresh the files, before it's only one day for one data point, okay. Say if I refresh it, refresh. So now I have November's data, November 13th, which is today. Okay. Let's go inside. So this is the data I retrieved. It is from London. It's 14.4 degrees Celsius. So it is updated in this way. Just one more thing I want to mention is the destination here. I create a folder like a folder like weather, and then year, and then month, and then date. You can change this structure. You can maybe put it in the same folder, but just the date different for the file name. So something like that. In return, you will get different structure for your API weather data. So this is just an illustration on how to grab API data using a Lakehouse, okay, data pipeline. If you go to the workspace, when a Lakehouse creates, it will have a semantic model. Okay. Like a warehouse it creates, it will also create a data set with a semantic model. The semantic model is just the model you create in the like a Datamart data warehouse, the same thing there. If you go to the Lakehouse, you can also create the semantic model here, like this. I create a semantic model like this one, SCRM activities and the date, this 2-dimensional. Say I create, confirm. So I can also join the date, for example, like this one to this. Okay. Let's suppose I do it this way. In that, you can directly create a report based on this model on the cloud for Power BI directly. And also aware that this bool-9 here, you can see that the storage mode is called Direct Lake, which is a new mode for Power BI to connect to. If Power BI create in this way, for the refresh, there is no latency, zero latency between Power BI and Lakehouse using the Direct Lake. This is the new thing for Power BI. Also, one more thing for the Lakehouse, you can also see SQL analytic endpoints here. Okay, what is this? In fact, if you go to the Lakehouse, you can change to SQL analytic endpoint, similar to the data warehouse and Datamart. You can also have a query, you can have a view, something like that. in the Lakehouse. But the SQL endpoint in data for the Lakehouse, you can only select. You cannot change. Unlike the data endpoint for the data warehouse, you can in fact change your table. Yeah, you can make modifications and update. So this is the difference. To recap for Lakehouse in this demo, you can have table and files for structured data and unstructured data, and you can use the pipeline. You can use Dataflow to grab your data, even from external web sources, like using API call. The last thing is related to shortcut. You can create shortcut like this way. You can get shortcut from Amazon S3 or from Azure Data Lake, your Azure Bob, etc. Or you can get it from OneLake in this platform, like Lakehouse, Warehouse, etc. And exactly like this table and this table, you see the icon with a link here. This is the shortcut, which is this last example I created in a data warehouse for SCRM activities and for the Autoline with header records. I created the shortcut, then I don't need to inject the data from the original source again. So the shortcut is the data virtualization, which meaning that you can manipulate the data as if it is in the lakehouse without any data migration. And but you need to aware that one thing, to create a shortcut in the table, the shortcut is called manage shortcut. So whenever you delete the shortcut, you delete the link, you delete the table, the original tables are intact. But if your shortcut is in, you create a shortcut in the folder, in the files, you delete the file, then this is called unmanaged shortcut. The original file from the original source will be deleted. Here is the difference and summary between Warehouse, Lakehouse, and Datamart. The first thing you can see is data volume. For the first two are unlimited, but for Datamart is limited to 100 gig. However, I deployed the SCRM as a Datamart, which is already enough for storage for 100 gig. But the main reason for that is on the license. Because most users now are using Power BI Premium, so they not only they can just read the data mark from others, but they can create their data mark. However, for warehouse and lakehouse, if I share warehouse and lakehouse to a user without a fabric capacity, they can still use it, but they cannot further create, or they cannot create their own data warehouse at lakehouse. Other differences, like on the type of data mentioned before, on Lakehouse, it can handle both unstructured data, structured data, and semi-structured data. And for developer persona, a citizen data analyst is prefer to use the Datamart, as they also mainly use Power Query. And for data engineering and data scientists, they prefer to use Lakehouse. They will use Python, Spark, and SQL to manipulate the Lakehouse. And for database developer, they will prefer to use Warehouse. Also compared before on Dataflow, Gen 1 and Gen 2, Dataflow Gen 1 is only on Power BI Datamart, but for Lakehouse and Warehouse, you can use Dataflow Gen 2, as well as you can use Pipeline. And for Lakehouse, you can also use Logbook and Spark Job definition. For SQL endpoint, you can only do it only in Lakehouse and Datamart, but read and write for Warehouse. So this is the main difference. In this demo 4, I will talk about Logbook for data engineering, data scientists, and data analysts who can use Logbook to do data analysis, exploring, and visualization. I will use the example from Demo 2, a data product combined with SCRM and Autoline data as an illustration of how you can use Logbook to do data analysis on it directly. So first of all, for to get the Logbook, say for example you are in data engineering, then you can create a new notebook, or you can scroll down to open the existing notebook, or you can go to data science. You can also create your notebook and open your existing notebook. For now, say if I open the last demo Lakehouse, my last example, I can open the notebooks here. Okay, either a new notebook or existing notebook. So I will open the existing notebook. So a notebook is a programming UI interface into your environment, and it is like a Jupyter notebook, which you can say, for example, you can create a new cells, you can type, you can make a markdown cells also, and the result you want will be kept, and then you don't need to rerun it. So it's very handy. And the notebook here, the default language, you can have HTML, you can have Python. In this case, it's PySpark. You can also use Spark API to connect to Spark to one Spark library. Also, you can run, of course, Python libraries. And then you can scale. You have scalar, and then you have SQL and R. Connect to this start this session first. So if I click any cell to run a cell, you can see it's waiting, and then you can see it connecting, and then just see how many seconds it can connect. Okay, it starts with 4 seconds, and then it finish this job by 11 seconds. Okay, usually to connect a Spark clusters, you need several minutes in Azure Labs or Azure Databricks, but here in Microsoft Fabric, it takes only several seconds to do the jobs. And you can run individual cell one by one, or you can run all. If you remember, this table is a shortcut link to the data warehouse example in the Demo2 for Autoline set records for the number of chassis returned to the workshop. And this is a shortcut link to a SCRM for the same data warehouse. And then I just also illustrate using files. So for the data, I upload a Excel as a lookup for the workshop. So for the programming interface, you can in Lakehouse you can do not only for table but also for files. So it's very convenient. And then let's go into it. For example, if I want to run SQL, so I just type percentage SQL as a start, then the whole cell will interpret as a SQL statement. Because like the SCRM activities is in the table, then I just select count, see how many record for this table, and then I select top 10 record as to visualize what was the table look like. And also I can just go by the activity type to see and sort of descend order to see the summary. In this table activities, there is 28,000 record. Okay, and then the record is look like something like this, and then the summary for the account type is something like this. So it's very handy. Just you run a few code, then you can basically know what's happening in this table. And of course, I can treat it as a Spark data frame. So I read it the same thing. I read the header record using Spark. Yeah, of course I can do it in SQL, but if I do it in Spark, then I just display it in this format. So I know, okay, this is the table look like for the top 10 records. In fact, I can do the SQL within Python, okay. So this is Spark SQL. So I can go by the CO is the version numbers. So I can do it in Python. Or here I also just read the file, Excel file, yeah, into a data frame, and then I joined it together. So this is the workshop, and then the workshop name, address, etc. And then I go by the workshop number, and then below is I joined it together. So the workshop number, and then the workshop name, and then the count all together. And below is I joined it together for the transaction levels. So I joined it together, and then just give the same result here. Also, you can do pivoting. So I pivot for the workshop workshop name, and then the type of record. So W is for workshop, P is for parts, C is for center warehouse, something like that. So it's very easy to slice and dice the data. Moving down, so you can do different things. You can also count this thing for unique customer, for unique chassis, etc. Here, instead using Python, I use SQL, because SQL you can just count this thing chassis, count this thing customer. So the same result you can just do it more easily. So you combine different language to do the same things, and then below is like you can do different filtering, sorting, selection, and here you want to do some visualization. You do some data, plot some chart to visualize the data, and you can use different library to do that. I use a common one, the matplotlib. Uh, and then I plot the number of visits is in the blue line, and distinct customer in the orange line. Yeah. So you can do it very easily by the 2023, okay, by month. I can also combine the data for SCRM, yeah, together to plot with the Autoline number of chassis returned to the workshop. So I combine it, and then I just plot it in the same chart. So here's the number of visits for the to chassis to return in the workshop in this time period, and then the below is the number of sales activities from SCRM. So, and you may ask, okay, any relationship between these two, and then you can run the statistic testing, so a correlation on this, and then the result is no correlation. Okay, yeah, it should not have any relation on this. You can also do some frequency distribution. I can also just use a histogram plot for the workshop names. Okay, histogram for the workshop name by the count. Then I will also get a chart. But of course, like histogram on a mileage is more meaningful. Like, okay, this is mileage plot, and I do a histogram chart on mileage, and then you can see that the mileage is quite linear, distributed from small mileage to high mileage. So here you can do directly using coding to do your data analysis and visualization. The good thing is that you don't really need to make them as a table to do it. You can just leave it as a files. Yeah, something ad hoc you can also do it directly. Yeah, so this is very convenient. There is a tool called Data Wrangler. It's very handy for help you to analysis your data. So, for example, this header record, I read it to a data frame. Then you can go to data, and then you will see Data Wrangler. And for this Spark data frame, I just load it here. You can use Spark data frame or Python pandas data frame. So I choose this one, but before I choose this one, I can just random sample it. I want from this data frame, I just want 1,000 record. So this one, I want to load it, and then I based on that to see what's inside in this table. So it load up the data wrangler, load up this data frame, and then you can see that okay, it have all the fields load up, and then I can see only missing for this field any distinct value. So this was one distinct value for in this field, and this is a date, so it has all the distinctive date in this field, and then this one is for this field. It shows the distribution for this field for me, etc., etc. Then I have a very quick understanding on the variable for all in this table. Then I can also do like I can find and replace duplicate rows, find missing, replace missing value, or I can do some formatting or fit the test if it's the test, and also I can do, for example, one hot encoding. just change the category data to numeric data for machine learning purpose, for example. So there's a lot of operation I can do. Then I demo one. Say for example, I want to rename this field like at type. So I change target name is target field is at type. I want to change to type, for example. Then it create a coding for me. Say if I apply it here, it change. Yeah, I change the field here, and if I want to copy the code to keyboard, I can do so. And then I just use this code, and then I can add it to the notebook, but I just exit. Okay. I can add a code here, and then I can Control V to paste the code. So here I can see it. It just get the random sample from this data frame, but I don't need this one. If I want to change the name of the data frame, I can just use this coding. So it's very convenient. Yeah. So that is the data ranker you can utilize. For notebook, it can also do machine learning preparation and run machine learning model. Here, I am not using our business case, but just copy a book for machine learning as an illustration for machine learning process. So here, first, it use one code encoder, for example, to convert category data to numeric data and do vectorize the data in vectorized formats. So it can run the machine learning libraries in Spark. And here you can see that if one logistic regression model, it fit the model. And you can plot like precision and recall to show how good is the model. You can plot the ROC curve, etc., etc. Here it runs the decision tree model and a random forest model. Here you can see that it uses cross validation to do a grid search to try different combination of the parameters in a random forest model. So it run all different combination and then to get the best model after all the ones. And then you will also plot the accuracy, precision, etc., etc. You can also do unsupervised learning model. First, of course, you manipulate the data to suit the model. Okay, such as you can do the vectorize and use k-means to run the clustering for the unsupervised model. Here it plots errors for different cluster, and you see the optimal one is the useful cluster for this model. And then you run a k-mean cluster. And so this is the full cluster. So finally, you can also plot using PCA, the principal component analysis for features reduction. So you just reduce to three features. And then eventually it will plot out the cluster for this data set. Something like that for machine learning. Of course, you can do more. Semantic Link just launched in this month. It is fairly new. It bridges the gap between data science and data engineering or data analysts. For data scientists, sometimes they may not even use Power BI. So, but now they can use Python to access the Power BI data set. So, how does it work? For here, I use example in the SCRM with Power BI desktop report, and there is some mapping for this report, and then for the data scientist, he even don't need to have this report, because if this report is published on the cloud, he can see that the data sets and the reports are published on the cloud, so he can access this semantic model by semantic link. So for example, this one is SCRM cloud data flow. So in the coding, in the notebook, what you can do is import Fabric objects and then set the dataset as this SCRM cloud data flow. For this dataset is called Fabric data frame, which is a kind of pandas data frame, but it has more. Like it can have more for the relationship for the dataset. For example, here you can put the relationship for that dataset. So there's a multi-to-one relationship between, for example, like activity report to activities on this view. Okay, so you can have all this mapping. So without even look at this table, then you already have all the list out all the information while coding, and then you can even put this as a metadata. So, for example, like here, activity to report to activities by this field, and then account to vehicle is by account ID. So this is very handy, right? And beside that, you can also access for the measures for the dataset. You can see the count, all the count rows for the activities. You can also see the it calculates the distinct count from one measure to another measure. Also, you can just directly evaluate your measure figures. A total number of vehicle delivered is 16,000 vehicle are delivered in the dataset, and then you can also group by the salesman for this total delivery. Then you can see which salesman delivered how many units of vehicle. So you can without go to the Power BI report, you can already do whatever analysis you can do. So I will use these features to get the relationship and the structure of this data set as a documentation for a data product very easily. So this is the Semantic link. There is OneLake data hub here. You can easily to see different workspace and resources you have to access in OneLake. You can also install OneLake Explorer here, like this OneLake Explorer. So, for example, if you remember this, I have a Toby demo as a workspace, and in which I have data, for example, files, data. I upload a Excel file, Hong Kong workshop as a lookup file, and also if you remember, there is like the header records, like the SCRM activities. So you can very easy to even manipulate those files and tables like the like OneDrive. I have one personal OneDrive and have one for the company OneDrive. So this is the OneLake Explorer. But aware that if you accidental delete a file or table here, the data warehouse table will be deleted in your OneLake. So it is as easy as a click to delete that. So be aware. I go through what is Microsoft Fabric, what component it has, why is it important. And for the first demo, I use SCRM new DRC to deploy as a Datamart. For the second demo on data warehouse, I combine with SCRM and online data source together with an Autoline with from an on-premise data source together to form a data product. And also compare the Dataflow Gen 2 versus Gen 1. And in the third demos on Lakehouse, I use the pipeline to get external API data into tables files. Also mention about shortcuts, and also compare warehouse, Lakehouse, and Datamart. And in the fourth demo, I use a notebook to do data analysis directly for the same data product in demo 2 in the Lakehouse. Also mention about Data Wrangler for easy data tools for Data Explorer. And also we talk about use the notebook to do machine learning preparation and run machine learning models. And I also mentioned about semantic links, bridge the gap between BI and data science. So last but not least, we talk about OneLake Explorer, which is the data store like OneDrive. Microsoft Fabric is still in preview, but every bit it has many new features. And however, it also have some outstanding issues. In data warehouse, it will auto create some relationship between tables for you. Even you delete them, they will come back, and this may be a big issue. So I don't recommend to use data warehouse. Instead, I will combine data warehouse with a lakehouse to create some semantic model for use instead. But in general, I think Microsoft Fabric integrates so many components together in one unified platform, which is very convenient, very handy, and very flexible to do data analysis, BI, and machine learning work. Microsoft Fabric is the trend, and it is already your solution now if you're asking for a data warehouse and lakehouse. I will stop here for this presentation, and it is time for Q&A, feedback, comments, and discussions. Thank you.